G'day guys, just thought I'd run through some of the gear that I usually take on an overnighter. I'll show a few bits and pieces too here and there when I do a longer hike or something like that. But first of all, the first thing is my backpack. I've got a couple, but this is my favourite at the moment. It's got good options in pockets and storage and stuff like that, good straps. It's a Tasmanian Tiger Raid Pack 3, I think it is. Good straps. It's got the V2 carrying system, so you can adjust it and stuff like that. One more notch on it would have been absolutely perfect for my torso height. When it is really heavily loaded, it seems to sit down a little bit low for me, like just the tiniest little bit. I'm probably going to look at another pack that I can try and get measured up for my torso height, spot on. And maybe something a little bit lighter, because this thing weighs in at about 3.2 kilo, I think, with nothing in it. So, geez, quite a heavy pack. I use an Osprey pack liner. This is a 52 litre, I think, the pack. I think this is suited for around that, 52 to 55 litre. So that just keeps everything nice and dry. You can roll the top up, obviously, keep everything nice and dry inside. That's generally the best way to go, because if you've got I've got the pack cover as well, which will help keep your outer pockets and stuff dry like that. But generally, if you're just running a pack cover, it never seals up around the straps, so you'll get moisture and stuff. If it really is heavy rain and stuff like that, it's going to work its way down in there and work its way into the pack. And if you've got electronics or anything like that, or even your bedding and stuff like that, if that's not contained in a dry bag inside, then it's going to get wet. I just carry a couple of little carabiner clips there from Alton. That might come in handy. On the inside, you've got your pocket up here. It's a good bag, lots of storage spots. You may have also seen this pack on Scotty's Gone Walkabout. He used to use it quite a bit, but I think he's decided to move on to something a bit lighter as he's doing bigger trips now and then. So as much as he probably still loves it and thinks it's a great pack, it is heavy, and I can see why he's upgraded to something a little bit lighter and gone with his collaboration there with Whipper. Usually in the pocket here, I just keep like simple stuff, some hydro lights, tea bags and stuff like that, a glove for if I'm grabbing something hot. Just little bits and pieces like that. I'll keep some Ziploc bags and stuff like that, just for if you need something to put some rubbish in, like whatever, bits and pieces like that. And the same thing up in the top lid here. I do have another lid that I bought for it, another pouch that can go on top, but I took that one off for the last hike that we just did. Ziploc bags and general bits and pieces will go up in there. Usually have some sun cream, and I got my Bushman's repellent over there that I'll usually keep in the sides. I'll keep my knife and stuff like that, head torches and bits and pieces. This one's got a good straps at the bottom for putting your tent, and I'll get to that now. That's one option there that I use. So now is the latest one I've just bought is an Alton Ultralight 1. I bought that just for a hike I've just done in Hyson Trail. Because my other tent here is one. I love this tent. It's a light fighter. It comes in a heavy duty stuff sack as well. But for a single man tent, this thing is quite heavy. This weighs about 3.2 to 3.4 kilo. I can't complain on the quality. It's got a nice heavy duty sort of fly material compared to this one here. Is made of a very lightweight stuff. And if there's anything I can complain about is this little bag. They've obviously tried to keep the weight down at Alton here, and I'd say that they probably designed it to go inside your backpack, out of the way, but strapped on the bottom like this and stuff, this carry bag, it's already got a very tiny little rip sort of starting in it where it's been rubbing on the dirt when I was putting my pack down and stuff like that. So like if they had planned it maybe with just something a little bit heavier sewn onto the bottom there as a bit of a protectant for it, would be awesome. But it is what it is. So that's why this one here, if I'm doing just a local trip around the place, just an overnighter and that, I'll probably tend to take this one. It's just a bit more heavy duty. I do really like this tent. It's got the dual vestibules, just seems to have a bit more storage for me pack and stuff to go in. This one's a little bit tight. I was able to get my pack in underneath the vestibule area, but it comes with a little bathtub section where they've sort of designed for you to be able to sit your pack up, but this pack's just a bit too big to get in there, and it just wants to lean into the tent. So I do prefer this one, but on a long trek, I'll have to sacrifice the weight there and go something half the weight and go with that Alton. With my sleeping bag, if it's a bit colder, I've been rocking this Recon 3 Gen 2. It's meant to be rated for -5. Yeah, I would not like to be in those conditions, I can tell you that right now. Like they say, pretty much most sleeping bags, you add at least 10 degrees, and I'm starting to believe that. You know, like some of these bags, they don't come close to their rating. But I mean, it keeps me warm. I've survived the night. I also then rock, if it's a bit of a cold night, I'll put the Thermalite, the Cedar Summit Thermalite reactor in there. And that's meant to add up to about 8 degrees of comfort. Definitely makes a difference and keeps you a lot warmer. For my pillow, I usually rock the Cedar Summit as well, the Aeros Premium Large Pillow, a little blow up inflatable pillow. That's an awesome little piece of gear. Just you get a nice night's sleep then, instead of sleeping on a rolled up jumper or something like that. I also grabbed from Alton their fitted sheet, which is for the fitted mat. You can you'll get one to suit each of their mats. This is just the regular, the R4 rated sleeping mat, so it's good to, you will be alright on snow, straight down on snow if you have to, but you generally want to go probably a little bit higher rating than that, maybe an R6, R7. But I've had no issues with being cold or feeling the cold coming up through that. And rocking that little fitted sheet, mate, it's awesome. It's got a little pocket sort of thing where you can stuff your pillow into, and it locks your pillow in place. So really great, and it stops that pillow sliding around, and it just feels like you're laying in your bed, you know, like instead of being straight on the rubber. Especially if you're going to strip down, you're not feeling that sort of cold rubbery mat on your skin, so it makes it a little bit more comfort and just keeps that pillow in place. So absolutely love that. While I'm doing the Alton stuff, I just grabbed this little sitting pad here. Now, a lot of this, like I said, is not everything I'll always take on just an overnighter. I've mixed up a couple of bits and pieces here that I generally take on a longer hike. But this is something I always sort of take, so just a little foam sitting pad. So if you're just sitting around, I usually just, you know, it's lightweight. This thing weighs like 50 something grams, I think it is. I don't know if it has it on here. 57 grams. So, you know, you don't even notice it's in your pack, it's that light. But if you want to kneel down on it, you know, if you're preparing food and stuff like that, or if you've got a rock or something like that and you want to sit down or just keep the cold out, you know, when you're sitting, bloody awesome. Love that little thing. Put that away in a minute. Right, for a raincoat, I'll just use a Rainbird stowaway jacket. Just a basic, you know, bit of rain protection. Generally, I try to pick decent weather because being in the rain's not the most fun anyway. I'll try to use it if I have to. I'll dig that out. Water bottles and stuff. I'll generally will take my good old army flask. Holds 1 litre. You know, if I'm just doing an overnighter and stuff, I can get by on 1 litre if I'm not exerting myself and doing a lot. I can get by with 1 litre of water, no worries, is enough to drink and make a cup of tea or something like that through the night. I'll sometimes take my Pathfinder flask. So this one's a single wall, so it's good for boiling on the fire. You know, I sometimes will take that if I'm going to go collect some extra water. That comes as a kit. So the kit of 3 fits inside your nesting cup, which I always take that. That's my main cup for drinking cups, coffee and whatnot. Fits into there, so it's got the little stove as well. I generally, if I'm taking my coffee thing, I'll take that. And I can sit that in the top of the cup there, and then my little coffee strainer thing goes up in there, and it just, yeah, makes it a little bit easier for me to make my cup of coffee. But, you know, you can put that on the fire, on top of your stove, gas stove, whatever you want. Great little set that is. Water filter. I've used a few different ones, but this is now the one I go to now. This is the Grail. They do a couple of different ones. This is their smaller one, the Ultra Press. It holds 500 ml of water. You know, awesome filter these are. They are only meant to be good for about 150 litres because they do that bit better job than most of the other ones. They get rid of all your chemicals, heavy metals, pesticides, viruses, like basically everything. Whereas some of the filters are only good for like bacteria and stuff like that. I've taken the filter off at the moment. There's a replaceable cartridge filter that goes on the bottom. I've got a new one down there, but I should have got that out for you. But anyway, yeah, new filter goes on, good for another 150. I probably pushed the last one probably close to 200 litres, and we had no issues at all. Didn't feel crook or nothing like that. So you can basically, that slides out, you scoop up your water, there's a little line up here, or you know, if you're doing it at a rain tanks or something where it says to purify as well, if you're on a hike, just fill it up with the line, and then you push it. It's got a good seal on it, push that down. Once you put your lid back on, you crack the small lid. You can look up Grail, like how to use them and stuff like that. But yeah, highly recommend them. Awesome bloody filter. And you just press that down, and then anywhere from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, depending on how hard you're pushing, and you got yourself super clean water. Tastes good as well, so I love that thing. It's an absolute beast. A couple of rubbish bags, well, food bag and rubbish bag. These are from DD Hammocks. They're not bad little bag for putting bits and pieces in. I usually take one just to put my food in, and I'll take one here to put my rubbish and stuff in, and just take out whatever you pack in, you always pack out. Let's go. Here, well, I'm on the hydration side of things as well. This is just a 2 litre collapsible water bag from Hydro Pack. So when we're around the camp and stuff like that, when we just obviously did our little hike there up in the Flinders, that was good to just fill up 2 litres there, and you're not back and forth from the rain tanks as much and stuff like that. So if you need to grab an extra bit of water and sit it in your pack or something like that as well, if you're going to collect from a creek or something like that. Sometimes, like I said, I'll take my Pathfinder and just top that up and then do the filter, have a drink and knock a bit of fluid back, and then top her up again and then head back to camp. So if you want to collect that bit extra water for cooking or something like that, this thing can come in handy. I'll put that away after. I'll also take my silt bag. It's always up in here. Well, water filter bag, whatever you want to call them. So that just folds out. It's one of those strainer bags where you drip your, like if you've got high sediment type water and tannin waters and stuff like that, you can pre-filter it through that first into your filter and then save the life of your filter a little bit. So I always carry one of those just in case you've got real dirty water. That there's just my lid. It goes on my nesting cup when you're boiling up some water to save your gas a little bit. What do we got? First aid kit. This, I always have this. Make sure you're always prepared. Pretty well decked out. I've got good bandages and stuff in there, tapes, band-aids, the general stuff. Bit of hand sanitizer, there's some burn gel and stuff up here if you burn yourself and whatever. Just cotton tips, cotton wool, Panadol, like all the general bits and pieces in there. So there's bandages there as well for hot compression bandages and stuff like that if you happen to get done by a snake or something like that, which we almost did on that last hike. Both of us nearly stepped on a brown snake each. The first one we got on film, but the second one, didn't bother to get there because it sort of shot off and I nearly stepped on him. This is my Firebox twig stove. You may have seen this in a couple of my vids if you're regulars and have watched my vids before. Only a fresh channel, so I've only got a few out so far. But yeah, my Firebox stove. Love this little thing when I just want to have a nice quiet little fire. Pretty much just flip the lid upside down, that gets it up the deck. You can feed your twigs up in through there. I generally just snap them up, good sized little twigs and get them in there and stuff. But yeah, good for a nice little stealthy fire. And I want to save some gas. And not very heavy either, it's quite light. But on a longer hike, I just rely on a gas stove. Which I'll get to now. So I usually just I like to use these Profield gas bottles, are pretty good. This one's just the 230 grams, sorry, my other one's a 4. For my stove, little gas stove, I'm just using a 360 degrees little screw on stove. And that one also comes with the little clicker igniter. So I've always got a lighter and stuff in my fire kit anyway, if that buggers up. So yeah, that's my little gas stove, which I generally only use for boiling up a cup of coffee or tea or whatever. Yeah, so that does the job there. Shemag. I'll take this as a bit of a fan of old Scotty, Scott Walkabout. He does the same thing. He uses the Shemag to put it out in the ground and to cook up and stuff like that, and keep all the bits of dirt and crap and leaves and stuff out of your food while you're preparing any food. I'll generally take a little, I haven't got it in here, but just a little plastic light chopping board for preparing food and stuff as well. While we're on cookware, somewhat little Alton ultralight titanium fry pan or plate. They advertise it as, and they've got the little pot grippers there for it as well. Can be hard to control the heat on it. They do get quite hot, but I mean they do the job if you want to fry up some snags or something like that. If you're cooking eggs, be wary. You want to probably have a good amount of oil in there. My knife. This is just my Kershaw. Got a nice thick blade, good 5 mils or so there. You want a decent sort of thickness blade when you're doing any kind of bushcrafty stuff. more of a skinning knife, but I don't know, I just like it. It's a good feel to it when I'm using my fire steel and stuff like that. So that's my old Kershaw USA knife there. I'll probably look at some other knives in the future. You can never have enough knives. This is just a little personal mirror. If you get something up in your eye, you know, you do need to have a look, or you could use it as a signal mirror light. Don't even know it's in the pack, but it's handy to have, you never know. Like I said before as well, is my Bushman's insect repellent. I'll generally take a little pocket towel. This is a Cedar Summit large little pocket towel, so that's good if you need, we had a little wash down and stuff like that, or if you want to dry off your tent and stuff like that. It dries really quickly too, just hang it out and it'll dry pretty quick. Handy little bit of gear to have. I'll generally take a glow stick, just in case your torches go flat or something like that, you just want a little bit of light, or wave it around for an emergency at night or something like that. But yeah, generally we'll have one of those in the pack. These pouches may not have everything in here, but generally just my cooking stuff in this one. Got a little sewing kit there, which is useful if you need to repair some clothing or something. I'll have a survival thermal blanket thing in there. That's just my straw thing there from my old Sawyer squeeze. Got a little bit of salt and pepper, my little cooking oil and a little waterproof matches container thing there, and my little cutlery set, and my little extendable spoon. There may be a few things I've taken out of there, but yeah, that just keeps them all in one spot. They're by VanQuest, these pouches. You may have seen them on a Scotty's video too, a long time ago. I thought they were a good looking piece of kit, so I grabbed them. So the same with this one's just my fire kit. So I'll have my fire steel in here. Got some steel wool, some different types of tinder in that, cotton wool, some wood shavings that I collected. There's another tin in here of some really high resinous wood shavings. A little bit of tenacious tape, which is that comes in handy if you need to repair a bed mat, a sleeping mat, or maybe a tent or something like that. And I'll have a couple of different lighters. There was always a saying that where there's one, there's none. Where there's two, there's one, which is a saying that a bloke said when you got ways of lighting a fire. As long as you've got two, you should always have one. If one fails, maybe you get a wet lighter or a wet set of matches or something like that. So I'll just have a good old Bic, you know, easy to use. Also got a windproof if the wind's just ridiculous, you know. And then I've got myself a little peanut style little Zippo type lighter. So they're handy. You can just flick them. You can drop it in, just let it catch timber or sticks or something. If you're struggling to find some tinder, that'll burn for a little bit. Don't have to hold it on, just place it in it. It'll just keep going. It's real handy to have. And my fire steel, like I said, it's quite a good size one. Anyway, you can get a good strike range on that one. Love that thing, never fails me. That's pretty much it from the fire kit. Got some waterproof matches there. Might have some more in here somewhere. But yeah, well prepared there. Plenty of different ways to start a fire. I do like hand drill and bow drill as well. You may have seen me trying to look for yakka stems and stuff like that. They can be hard to find the right ones, the right thickness and whatnot. You need a fairly fat one to make your hearth board, your flat board from, and then a nice sort of skinny one if you're doing hand drill, or you can get away with maybe a broomstick size for your drill, for your bow drill. But yeah, I'll probably get one of those going in one of my vids eventually when I find all the stuff I need. Let's see, electronics. I always carry a couple of torches. Got my head torch here, just nothing super expensive, just a basic head torch. Rechargeable, USB rechargeable as well, so I'll take a power bank, especially on a longer trip. I'll take the power bank. This one's just 20,000 milliamp, so I can charge up the GoPro and stuff if I need. I'll generally have enough batteries, or I don't even need to use it for that, but generally we'll just use it to charge up my head torch because I don't want to run out. I always got a spare torch. I usually have this one just hanging in my tent and stuff at night and use that as my... I usually even carry another third little backup one and then some spare batteries as well. Handheld UHF. This came in handy when we were on our hike up there. Well, didn't have to use it actually, but we just checked in with it. They got a lot of repeaters up there through the Flinders Ranges because there's absolutely no cell phone coverage. So these were quite handy to just test, and we got a radio check from one of the repeaters there, and she was straight away was like, "Oh, do you just need picking up or whatever, la la." And I was letting her know that no, we'll find in no distress or nothing like that. We're checking that we could reach the repeater and someone was monitoring it. So it was good to know that someone was there if we did need it. This is just a GME TX6160. I think they're now pushing basically the same radio, 6165 is their latest, and then they've got the XRS Connect versions. So that's a 5-watt radio. It's an aftermarket antenna though. They only come with just a little stumpy antenna, which would probably, you'd still be okay with it, give or take. But this one just is a 3-disc DBI antenna, and it just performs a little bit better in those hilly, bushy terrains and stuff like that. So they're an aftermarket one I got from I think a company called Prestige Communications, from memory. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it was from that. And they suit a range of different radios, units and stuff like that, so they'll tell them in the description. They'll tell you what they can go on to. And generally I'll just have my little thing of coffee here and a little bit of sugar. And that's most of the general bits and pieces I'll take. There may be some other things that I'll pack here and there. For clothing, my old boots. There's me lower Renegade, I think, XR6 or something like that. They're military boot. Love these things, are so comfortable. Straight off the bat too, like when I bought them, they were just comfortable straight away. They got Gore-Tex liner and stuff like that, so yeah, they keep your feet dry. Obviously any Gore-Tex boot, if you get it wet on the inside, it's going to take a long time to dry, but I haven't had any issues. I can step in creeks and things like that and they just bead the water off. They usually come with a aftercare spray and a cream as well that you can put on. And yeah, I cannot rate these things enough. They're absolutely awesome. And they've already done quite a few Ks, and there's like just tiniest little bit of wear on the toe, but absolutely insane sole on them. I'll just generally wear a lightweight little polyester shirt, which you've probably seen in my other vids if you watch any of my vids. Just a little grey lightweight polyester shirt, 100% polyester. If it gets wet, dries super quick. They wick really well as well. If you get building up a bit of a sweat, they wick and dry really quickly as well. The last thing you want is to be damp or wet out in the bush. So I tend to go polyester type stuff with a lot of my gear. Same as my pants. They're an old set of Army Surplus Army pants. I think they were a blend of 60-something% polyester and 35%, so 65 and 35 or something like that, polyester and cotton. But the same thing, they dry really quickly, really rugged. You know, I can push through a lot of scrub and stuff like that, or rocky stuff, and they're not going to get a hole in them too quickly. Can be a little bit warm in the sun, you know, like in the warmer conditions. And on the longer hike like that, I was getting a bit warm in some spots, and wish I had some of those little zip-off ones or something like that my mate had. But nah, I did all right. For my jumper and that, I generally just take this one out. I've got another one which is a bit thicker with like a wind liner thing through it, but it's just from that Ridgeline company, which is a New Zealand company, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just a polar fleece. Again, polyester. It just dries super quick. It beads water a little bit too, like light drizzle and light stuff like that. It doesn't even feel like you've really gotten wet, so it beads the water quite well and just dries super quick. Instantly warm when you put them on as well. They just feel nice and warm. And yeah, quite durable. So that's pretty much all it for my clothing that I'll generally wear. I'll always wear wool socks in my boots. I tend to go the Merino Treads. I think they're just a great sock, really comfortable and good quality merino wool. As my sleeping bag, that's what I've been using. If it's a bit warmer, I've got another one which is just a Snug Pack jungle bag, so it's a bit better for the warmer conditions. But that's pretty well about it for the general stuff I take. Like I said, there may be some other bits and pieces, little knickknacks and things that everyone packs in, but that's the general gear I'll take out or go to. Some of this, I won't always, like I said, I won't always take this and that flask. You know, I may just take my water filter if I think I'm going to collect some more water. I'll generally just take some clean water out if I'm just want to hit a spot and not have to go chasing water. Sometimes I won't take that and I'll just take my filter and basically I'll sort of know where there's a water source and I'll go looking for it. And then I may take that as well as the water filter there, so I can actually collect some water and just boil it if I need to as well. But hey, that's pretty well it for that. If you like the vid, it's just a little rundown on some of my stuff. If there's anything here or you want to ask any questions on any other bits of gear, feel free to leave us a comment. If you like the video, like and subscribe, that'd be great. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.